The other big story this Wednesday morning, former IPID head Robert McBride returns to Parliament this morning for a second day as the Ad Hoc Committee that's probing criminality, corruption and political interference allegations in the justice system continues. McBride's evidence has already sent shockwaves in some respects after he claimed or made claims of crime intelligence infiltration, alleged interference in high-profile cases and sharp exchanges with MPs over national security and accountability. SABC News reporter Abra Barbier is in Parliament for us and joins us live ahead of day 2 of the sitting, Abra. And yesterday we spent a considerable amount of time going through McBride's evidence, given how thick his statement was, suppose 800 pages or so, and peppered in that statement were his own share of allegations.
Ayanda, yes. Today it is day 2. It's round 2 for the former IPID head, Robert McBride. He, of course, will be taking questions from MPs today. I'm expecting it to be tense. If yesterday is anything to go by, we already saw some exchanges, some sparks flying between MPs and Mr. McBride. And of course, it does get very sensitive when he mentions names of people who belong to certain political parties who are there in the committee room questioning him. So that, I think we're going to have more of that today. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how the day pans out. As you said, 800 pages, his statement was 800 pages long. So it's going to be another long day. All the parties, all the MPs are going to have a bite at the apple to get the questions. And obviously then we'll have questions of clarity as well. So yes, a long day ahead of us today as MPs have their turn to cross-question Mr. Robert McBride in the Ad Hoc Committee today. Ayanda?
At some stage, he was asked a question about this member of the GNU who apparently threatened him. What did he say?
He referred to the, his allegation is that the current Correctional Services Minister, Pieter Groenewald, that I think it was after an intelligence committee where Mr. Groenewald approached him and threatened him, pointed at him, said something like, "You'd better watch out." And then he elaborated on it, and he later said that Mr. Groenewald came back to him and asked him a few questions thereafter, and that exchange was a little bit better than the first exchange. And this information came out, I think it was just before. I think they actually closed right after this revelation. So I'm sure that we are going to be hearing more about that today when the committee resumes. Ayanda?
Yeah, before we let you go, it was also interesting, Abra, to hear McBride speaking about what he thinks needs to be changed in order to improve the independence of IPID, suggesting at some stage that perhaps it needs to be taken outside of the police ministry.
Ayanda, what stood out for me, because yes, he gave his own recommendations, and the one thing that he said is that when he was the head of IPID, and I forget the number right now, but he said when he was the head of IPID, he referred to it as a national crisis because of the amount of police generals, top-ranking police men and women who he actually had to deal with through IPID investigations because they were linked to corruption and fraud. And he said since he has no longer been the head of IPID, the information he's received is that since then there has not been a single police official who has been charged with or dealt with in terms of corruption. And another thing is he basically appealed to the not to the portfolio committee, rather to the ad hoc committee. He appealed to them, referring to cases that have gone through Parliament in previous years, and basically saying to MPs, but he stopped short of saying, you guys didn't really do your jobs. You didn't really play the role that you were supposed to play. And now I'm coming back to you and ventilating the same issues that was before you. He spoke about an incident. He was referring to the Zimbabwean rendition story where he really wanted to come to Parliament and give his version of events. He lost his job because of that situation, and he wanted to come to Parliament and he wanted to give his side and explain, but there were two reports. He had compiled a report versus another investigation that had taken on this happened on the sideline, which was a completely different report to his, and he wanted to come and explain, but hang on, this is why I said that there's not enough evidence to charge Ramat and Sibia. And he basically just threw it back at MPs again. And he said something along the lines of, honourable members, please, something needs to be done. We need to end this now, because he was really giving, he was very emphatic, I think, and passionate about his belief of how bad the corruption is within the system. And he said when he was the head of IPID, I think it was his second year as head of IPID, second year as head of IPID, when he specifically started noticing ministerial interference within IPID itself. So that is what his testimony was largely about yesterday, and he will be probed on that again today, Ayanda.
And we'll certainly wait to see how it all unfolds. Abra, Barbier, thanks very much indeed for getting us up to speed. Abra, live to us there from Parliament.